Hi guys, so here's part 2 on managing your business remotely while you're away on vacation or whatever it is that you might be doing. So on this trip I encountered a few different issues while on vacation, and I wanted to share some really important tips that I thought were definitely much needed if you are running a Turo business, if you're a host, if you're planning on expanding and you want to be able to, go out, take trips and be away from the cars. And one of the main things is you want to make sure that you have remote access and the ability to track your cars. That's super important. And by remote access, I mean at the bare minimum, being able to lock and unlock your cars. That's really important, just in case you need to assist a guest, or if somebody's returning a car and you're not there to grab the key, you can have them leave the key in the car and you can lock the doors and know that the car is safe. So things along those lines, that definitely comes in handy. And then another thing that I wanted to talk about is, when you're on vacation, you also have to remember, if you are the one that's managing the business, it's not totally hands off. And I think the thing that I've really realized is the hardest part about managing it while you're away is if you're doing things where you're away from your phone and you don't catch messages in time, or you need to help troubleshoot a guest. So these things will come up, especially if you have a larger amount of cars, and it's more likely to happen. So for example, yesterday I had one of my renters who was renting one of my convertible cars. The convertible top malfunction. Luckily, I was around when that happened and I had my phone with me, but the timing was kind of crazy because one of the main reasons why I took this trip to Hawaii was to learn how to surf. So I've been out on the water for hours at a time throughout the day, surfing, going snorkeling, sailing, all kinds of stuff, and I don't have access to my phone. So it's always kind of, scary when I get back out and I kind of check my phone. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope like I didn't miss anything crazy. So that's kind of the tough part about it. But luckily I was available when this happened with the renter, and I was able to help troubleshoot it, and I was able to support her from being over here. And one of the things is, you really want to try to make sure that your cars are well maintained, that before you leave town or you're away from your cars, that your cars are in the best possible condition. In the scenario of this convertible top, it was something that I could have not, there's no way I could have anticipated it malfunctioning. I've never experienced that with any of my convertibles. This was the first time, and prior to leaving, when I dropped it off at the LAX Turo lot, I always check the convertible top, make sure everything is functioning properly. It's washed clean, full tank of gas, and it was when I left, but I guess at some point in time during her trip it malfunctioned. Now, one of the things that I did was I offered her a refund for the remainder of her trip because, she really wanted to be in a convertible and I wanted to show good faith with her. So what I had to do in that scenario, and some of you guys might run into it, so if you ever do, this is what you do. If you want to offer your guest a refund, it's not something that you can do yourself through the app. You do have to contact Turo support. But brace yourselves and make sure you keep enough time on hand to do this, because in my experience, 9 out of 10 times, Turo's support system is terrible. I just think that they're not set up correctly, or they're understaffed, or both actually, in my opinion, from what I can tell. But in this instance, for this girl, I was on the line with Turo support for over 45 minutes. But the craziest part of all, besides it being 45 minutes, is during the time that I was on the phone with them, just asking for a super simple request. Hey, this girl has returned the car already, so can I just refund her for the rest of her trip and end the trip so that she can book another one? Because she can't book another car if this trip is still active. And I've done this many times before, so I know that this is not something out of the ordinary. But the craziest part was, while I was on support with them, I got transferred 5 different times. And every time I got transferred, the person on the other end, on Turo's side, kept saying, oh, you know what, sorry, you got transferred to the wrong department. I mean, it was wild. It was such a wild experience, and it sucked because the girl was in a rush to get somewhere, and so she's calling me on the other line, texting me saying, hey, my reservation's not canceled, I can't book another car, I'm getting late. And it was just all around not a great situation. I did my best, but that's the part that sucks, is when Turo kind of doesn't hold up their end and really provide the support that you need. So really I try to avoid any situations that require support, and you can do that by making sure that your cars are well maintained, they're well taken care of, so that people don't run into issues, so that you don't need to have support. Otherwise it can be quite the headache. So although I am on vacation, I am still working and making sure that all these things get taken care of. And that's kind of the nice thing about technology these days, is that you can do all of it remotely. I do have quite a few more trips coming up this year, tons of things that I want to go do and see. Although I think throughout this year it'll be a little bit different, because I'll be expanding. I'll most likely, bring somebody on to help me do it. I currently don't have any hired help, for those of you that are wondering and that have asked before. So, as I expand, I'll definitely do that to kind of make things a little bit easier. Anyways, hope this tip helped you guys for the next time you guys want to travel or get away for a few days. These are just some things to keep in mind. Thanks, guys.